All right, there he is. So Matt Powell, welcome to the stream. What's up, Matt?
Hey, not too much. How are you doing?
Oh, pretty good, man. Just having fun, chilling.
Hey, this is your first time on the channel since I officially became a co-host. Welcome.
Hey, thanks. Good to be here.
So, you said you had a few questions.
Yes, so I'm coming out with a new film, as you guys probably know, and so I wanted to ask you guys, as well as the other atheists that listen to this, if there's anybody that's willing to have a discussion.
I'm going to correct you. I'm not an atheist.
He knows that, but he's talking to the atheists that might watch. So what was that last part, Matt? I missed it.
Yeah, so I'm just looking for anybody that might be interested in having like an on-camera discussion. Obviously, this whole coronavirus is still kind of a curse to everybody, so nobody's really able to get out and about. But I'm thinking after the coronavirus, if there's somebody that wants to have a conversation, I'd be glad to meet up with them, even in person. So do you guys know of anybody that you'd recommend?
I mean, I guess it depends, because are you going to try to use the sort of editing tactics that you used on Knock?
Like very great comfort style, I'm assuming.
Kind of, yeah.
Good question. So like I saw you in Modern Day Debate, telling people that you wanted to do that, and I said I would recommend against it. Yeah, well, like, would you be honest about it? I know you'll never admit that you wasn't with me, but like, I think that you should probably do it with Arn Ra. I mean, he would be the perfect person to talk about evolution with you, I think.
Well, I'd love to talk to Arn Ra about evolution and creation and stuff, but I just don't think it would go too well based on the fact that he's always interrupting his opponents. And like when we had our conversation, you hardly ever interrupted me, I hardly ever interrupted you, and it really flowed really well. And so I think it went good. And so Arn does totally different tactics. Like he interrupted Kent Hovind like 168 times. So
were you sitting there with a clicker?
Matt, can you do you think you'd go on with my friend Math Pig? He would love to have a discussion with you, and he's got a channel.
Yeah, Math Pig.
Perhaps.
Math Pig, he's an atheist, and he'll talk to anybody. I think he would probably talk to you, definitely.
Perhaps. I mean, what I'm really looking for, though, is like an in-person type of deal. So just meeting up with somebody in person and having a conversation about evolution on a professional camera set, much like what I did with Knock before.
I think the difficulty for me about doing something like that, in addition to Corona, which, I don't know if you've been following the channel too much, but my husband he's currently battling some kind of virus. We're pretty sure that it's COVID because the first test came back positive. But they had to retest him because it might have been contaminated. I think travel expense would be a difficulty because y'all are out in, like, what, Michigan?
No, he's in Arizona now.
Oh, yeah, you're in Arizona.
I actually think Allie would be good after this Corona thing, as you're saying. Excuse me. Don't drink soda. But if I think Allie would be a good person for you, but like, would you like guarantee? And this was totally my fault, and I'm not trying to bring up old shit. You don't have to admit to anything. But I allowed my camera to be touched by other people than myself in our second conversation. So would you guarantee, like, nobody would be fucking with Ali's shit, and she would be able to take her own coverage and portray the conversation 100%? Because I think that you and Ali would have a very good conversation face to face if it could be legitimate, and you guys could meet up. And she's a lot closer to you than I am now, so.
Of course. Yeah, I mean, that's how it went before. I don't think that the accusation of a bunch of homeschool kids messing with your camera stuff is really valid, man. I understand your stuff malfunctioned, but
I mean, it's never done it since. Like, I still use the camera sometimes, and it's never done it. But like, I don't mean. I'm not even trying to bring up that conversation.
Let's not bring up any sort of stuff. I'd probably bring one of my partners along to man the camera. That way, they would always be with it.
Yeah, I mean, and that was the one issue, because I did lose a segment. So like, I think that if it can be recorded on both sides, then of course, I think that you and Ali would have a great conversation. She's intelligent, and she could speak to you about evolution amongst being a theist and a polytheist as well. I think it would be great.
Yeah, that's another big thing is like I don't deny the existence of the gods. I just don't necessarily care whether or not mind created the universe. And I think that it's a really strange thing that Christians are very fixated on that. And I think that makes it a slightly different conversation too. So you'd have a very interesting bit of content there if you decided to talk to a polytheist.
And if you want to just talk to an atheist over the internet, MathPig is just like screaming for it. MathPig's a good dude. He'll have a conversation. It'll be a different conversation than me. He allows actually a lot more freedom when it comes to speech than me, probably. So I think that you and MathPig would have a great conversation, and you should probably consider it. He is an atheist, and he's willing to talk to anybody.
Well, in that case, if you guys wouldn't mind just kicking his information over to me, I'll go ahead and reach out to him. And
he posted it in you for the side chat. He posted it in you in the side chat.
I will definitely tomorrow make it a point to send you MathPig's information, and then Allie's right up in my emails, Matt, so you can talk to Allie right through my emails as well.
Yeah, I'm halfway his secretary. Like he finds out that people emailed him by me telling them that they emailed him.
I put his email address up in the private chat here, Matt. So. And
yeah, Matt, meet Momma Atheist. She's a scientist.
Yeah, she's a climate scientist.
God damn it! Sorry, my dog is jumping all over the bed.
Nice to meet you, Momma Atheist. Do you mind if I ask you some questions?
Okay.
It's completely up to you.
Yeah. I don't know if I can answer them all, but I'll try.
Sure. So, when did you become an atheist?
I was raised Catholic, but I never believed. So.
Okay. And just curious, do you think it's rational and logical to believe that someone created something out of nothing, or that nobody created something out of nothing? Just curious.
I think that your logic is flawed there, that nobody is saying that the universe or people or anything or life on Earth just poofed into existence. And that tends to be your side's argument, this whole abiogenesis shit or whatever it is. Nobody is saying that magically stuff just came into existence, except your side, your side is saying that God just magically poofed everything into existence. I don't. My degree before climate science was astrophysics. So, All
right.
What I do?
What's up?
Oh no, not you. There's another scientist who actually specializes in evolution who just asked to come on. Matt, would you be willing to talk to more than one person?
Well, I didn't come in here to get ganged up on, because that usually is what happens.
I'll bow out. I'll answer. I'll finish answering the question, and I'll bow out. It's fine.
If you can ask your question.
Nathan actually specializes in evolution, so it would just be you and him, Matt.
All right, not shush for a sec. All right, so my job on this channel as moderator, what I can do is I can wait to send the other person the link until you're done asking Momma Atheist questions, and then we can bring them on to answer questions also. Do you think that's fair?
Fair enough.
Okay, so Nathaniel, wait for a hot sec, and I'll get you a link as soon as Momma Atheist is done.
Okay.
So we finished, I did astrophysics before, and so, I believe in the Big Bang, but I also believe in the Big Crunch, so that there was no actual beginning and end. It's always been expanding and contracting, or it's possible that, there are other theories, but and I don't know a single atheist that will tell you that we or the universe or anything just magically popped into existence. That is not something that we believe. So.
Well, according to National Geographic, that is exactly what is claimed by the secular sources. And they say, well, before the Big Bang, there was nothing, literally nothing. And then an explosion out of chaos produced order. So do you think an explosion out of chaos produced order?
There was no explosion. The Big Bang is an explosion. It was a massive expansion in a very short amount of time. But no,
a very short amount of time. In fact,
one source you hear from. I know personally of all the scientists I've worked with in astrophysics, all the scientists that I've worked in climate science, that nobody will tell you that there was ever nothing, that everything magically popped into existence.
Yeah, we can't even see to the very beginning. I'll bow out again, but I'm just saying, like, we can't see pre-plank time. Matt,
Okay, knock. I'm gonna mute you.
Yeah.
I
No,
promised that
I appreciate.
I promised that he wasn't gonna get ganged up on. So
No, it's all good.
Totally
I
my
don't
fault.
mind.
I apologize.
It's all good. I don't mind. I'm kind of used to it.
Yeah.
So,
okay.
yeah. So, well, obviously we disagree on what the secular sources actually state. But I think anybody can look up what National Geographic has said. And
May I-
see that from.
may I ask you a question, Matt?
Knock yourself out.
Okay, so do you consider National Geographic to be a primary source, meaning a source of research directly, or do you consider National Geographic to be, say, a reporting source, a secondary source, so like a newspaper or something that would report on those primary sources?
Well, obviously it's a secondary source, but there's a lot of people that research the primary sources that go into that secondary source. And so with regards to that, I would definitely say it's a secondary source, but they're basing it off the primary sources, which is the textbooks. And just to address Momma Atheist's point about the Big Bang being an expansion rather than an explosion, the Big Bang Theory states that the universe went from the size smaller than an atom to our known universe in less than a second. So if that's not an explosion, I don't know what is.
Okay. That's what you believe, but you're talking about there is a difference between a rapid expansion and an explosion, and I think calling it an explosion, or even just sometimes even calling it the Big Bang, is incorrect, because you're acting like it was some kind of huge like chemical thing, a chemical explosion that and it's not. You're talking. You have all of the mass of the universe that came into being, or not came into being. That was incorrect, because it didn't just magically appear, as I said. But it's not just exploding and acting as a bomb, as the word explosion would connotate. It is about the expansion and stuff coming together in terms of where our galaxies came from, where matter itself, where elements came from. I think if you want to understand it more, learn about it more. It's hard for me to. It's been a really long time since I studied this, but it all comes down to that nobody, not a single atheist that I know, and my friend Jay says here, just because one magazine article you read says it, doesn't mean that that's something that all of us believe. And so that's all I can really, that's as much as I can expand on that.
Fair enough. All my claims come directly from the textbooks.
Momma Atheist, you're having the mic problem again for a half sec.
Okay.
I'm actually a little bit more well versed in this myself, but Nate is here now, Matt. Would you like to ask Nate questions? He is a person that specializes in evolution.
Sure.
You probably have seen him before. He's in a lot of debates. A very smart man. Is that okay?
Yeah. Well, I'm only here to ask questions at this point, so I'm just going to.
Oh yeah, that's fine. Questions. Yeah, you can ask questions. I'm going to bow out. I'm going to. I like to talk, so I'm going to try really hard not to talk.
Fair enough, man.
Yeah, I wish that I would have been the one that started the damn room this time, not, because then I could mute your butt and make you stop.
I know. I promise I'm going to shut up. What's up, Nate? Nathaniel, welcome back. Good friend of the show. Dragnaut Silvis is in the house. What's up, Dragnaut?
All right, so Momma Atheist, for the future, we're still going to give you the chance to plug your channel. We're probably going to trim off the tail end of this and post it as its own separate video for anybody who isn't watching this live, just because we want the focus to be on you, including on the VOD. So that's what we're going to be doing for this, because, we wanted this to be your starring moment.
I think Matt expects that I'll make this its own segment anyway, so. All
right,
it's the game, right, Matt?
Fair enough.
All right, so we're going to set the terms of the debate. Nobody else is going to pop in and talk. That includes you, Knock. You guys are more than welcome to talk to one another. Please don't cut each other off. I will cut in if somebody does, or if you guys get overly heated. You know how this works. I'm fairer than fuck. Like, I've muted Knock's butt in a room full of 5 Christians. So,
Knock, why'd you tell him I'm smart?
Because you're smarter than me, so
Oh,
that qualifies.
no.
I think highly of myself.
So you said that you just wanted to ask a few questions, Matt. I will let you start.
So, man, how's it going? I liked your show. I thought
God.
it was very interesting.
Are you talking about my show?
Yeah, the little thing that you made last year. I listened to it on my drive back from Corpus Christi. I thought it was interesting.
All right, man. Just curious, are you atheistic?
I'm a scientist. My religion doesn't matter.
Okay.
Now,
fair
mind you,
enough.
I am pursuing a PhD in New Testament theology, though. So
Right.
So
Okay,
there's
so
that.
so my questions are, do you believe in the possibility of God?
Sure,
Why do you believe in the possibility of God?
because it's possible. Do you believe in the possibility of not God?
Well, I don't believe in absurdities, but I'm just asking you questions. So I'm not really
No,
here to answer
I
questions.
figured I'd check your intellectual honesty.
Sure, sure. So, can you tell me who your first ancestor was and what kind of organism it was as it came to life through spontaneous generation?
Spontaneous generation. You want to give me like a nice little definition there, please?
Life coming from non-life, the biogenesis.
Who's that? I don't think that's the actual definition, but I'm gonna let you get by with that. Yeah, not really sure. Single-celled organism, organelles. So I have a specialty. I have a degree in paleoanthropology. So let's go ahead and stick it ahead to the hominids.
Oh, okay, sure. Well, in that case, do you believe that your ancestors were shrews, ancient rats?
We'll go. Why don't we just start with the mammals around 67 million years ago? We'll go with the first primates around 67 million years ago. Let's go with that, and we can get into Cladorine, we can get into Haplorine, stuff like that. That way we can actually get the correct type of chromosome makeup here, and we can actually get the correct type of evolutionary process, because we want to make sure we keep it nice and well. More than anything else, if we're going to get into actual like phenotypes and genotypes, we want to make sure that when we do the math, that we're going to do it so people understand what the heck we're talking about. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, awesome. Thank you very much. Are you ready for the next question?
Yeah, go ahead, man.
Okay. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yep.
Oh yeah, we hear you, Matt.
Yeah, you're coming
Awesome.
through fairly clearly. You sound like you're a little bit congested, but you are coming through.
Yeah, just a little low, but we definitely hear you.
All right, thank you very much. Have you ever observed, or has anybody ever observed life coming from non-life? Simple yes or no.
I don't deal with the origins of life. Very specifically, as I've said, I deal with paleoanthropology, and so that's what I request we speak about. There is not a paleoanthropologist that deals with the origins of life. So simple request. Let's stick within my scientific parameters. Thanks.
All right, fair enough. So obviously, that's a very basic question, though, right? Like,
Yeah, it's not my
law of
scientific field,
biogenesis.
though. But it's not my scientific field, and so I'm not going to talk about it. I'll let somebody who actually studies the origins of life speak about it. I'm not going to. Just like I don't speak about
Right.
Islam because I'm studying New Testament history.
Fair enough. Are you ready for the next question?
Oh yeah, hit me with them. Come on.
All right, fair enough. Richard Dawkins claimed you came from a fish. Do you agree with that?
We have fish ancestors, sure, but again, paleoanthropology. Come on, man. Do you not know anything about hominids? I specifically said
I'm just asking questions.
paleoanthropology.
Well, can you define exactly what that is? Because there's obviously a lot of fields of science.
There's only
So, if
one
you wouldn't
field
mind-
of paleoanthropology. Really?
Well, obviously one field of that, but a lot of different fields of science. So I'm just asking you, can you tell me exactly what that is?
Sure. Yeah. Just go with. Let's make it very basic. History of hominids.
Okay.
Okay, so basically what he means there for the average layperson is the evolution specifically of humans and our ancestors and those that were in our family.
Sure, we'll go with that. And really anywhere within the past, anywhere between like the last 7 and 11 million years. But again, I will go back to the beginnings of Cladorine and Haplorine, all the way back around 67 million years ago, if you want to, because that's really the beginning where we find of the primates. So I think that's, we could go back that far, but more than anything else, between 7 and 11 million years ago is probably where we want to start.
Well, what was 7 to 11 million years ago? Did humans exist back then?
No. So humans didn't start existing. Well, there's actually the consensus is actually kind of split on this at this point. Because you're talking about some things, the possibility of Homo naledi, which would be considered human, around anywhere between like the 1.3 and 2.5 to 3 million years ago. There's a lot of Homo in the, and I know that probably upsets you, and I apologize for that. But there's a lot of Homo, of course, of the past like 2.5 million years. So somewhere around there. Now, you're asking about Homo sapiens, but now man is certainly, sorry for the corgis, man is certainly quite a bit further back than that.
All right, awesome. Well, thank you so much for answering my questions. I really appreciate it.
We didn't ask any.
I asked quite a few.
Well, yeah, but no, very specifically, I told you paleoanthropology. So I'm guessing that you don't accept my field of science then.
Well, obviously, the Bible's my final authority, and the Bible speaks of science falsely so-called, and the Bible says.
Yeah, that's out of context. I don't recommend taking it out of context. I don't think you've done the exegesis on that.
Well, it just
Nathaniel, let him finish his statements. Make sure that he's allowed to finish his statements.
My bad.
I think that it just means what it says. I don't think that there's a private interpretation, and so I think that, the Lord just constantly says to write things down plainly. He even told Moses, just write things down plainly for people to make them easy to understand. And so I don't think it's rocket science. And, if you believe in fish to fisherman evolution, you're more than welcome to believe that. But I think that's a religion. And, just because, and I'm very curious, you say that the theistic idea doesn't matter in this conversation. And I'm just curious.
Sorry, go ahead.
I'm just curious as to why you would say, well, evolution matters, but like, what good does evolution do for society?
Are you serious? How do you think we're finding the vaccine to coronavirus right now? That was actually a question I'm asking. Like, how do you think we're finding the vaccine to coronavirus? Do you think we're?
Well, obviously.
Have you ever heard of Mendelian genetics?
I've heard of it. Yes.
Yeah, that's how we actually able to get in and figure out vaccines. That's something Darwin was wrong about. You should actually take that one and put it in your craw, because Darwin was really wrong about genetics. Not that it matters. Not that it matters at all. Darwin could be wrong about everything. Evolution is still a fact, man. But no, it matters society every single day. I mean, how do you think we figure out our genetics? How do you think we figure out the base? It's the foundation of modern science. Literally. Yeah, and so that's why it matters. But I do have a question for you though. If the Bible is in is in plain text, as you said, right?
Sure.
Then why don't you have any slaves?
Well, obviously that was in the Old Testament, and that's something that could easily be taken out of context. And so,
like Leviticus 25 can be taken out of context? What's the context?
Well, number one, you're going back to an Old Testament passage, and this is usually what atheists do, is they love to go back to the Old Testament when in Leviticus God commanded slaves. But obviously there were certain places in the Old Testament where it was perfectly permissible to have a slave. If somebody didn't pay off their debt, obviously they would be enslaved.
Yeah, I'm not talking about Exodus. I'm talking about Leviticus.
Well, this is Leviticus.
That's Exodus chapter 20, 21. No, there's no indentured servitude or indebtedness in Leviticus 25. It's very specific that you can buy your slaves from the heathen around you and the ones that live within your borders, and then you can also pass them down to your family, and they'll be your property forever. I'd like to know the context there and how I took it out of context.
Well, sure. I have no problem with what the Bible says when it talks about slaves. And I find it interesting that you guys are all, freaking out about these slaves that are in the Bible, when probably every one of you on this panel believes that abortion and murder of children at conception is perfectly fine. And so the only reason that I came in here was just to find people that would be willing to have a discussion with me in person about evolution and atheism. Mainly atheism,
I don't really care about the atheism thing. And by the way, talking about abortion, Numbers chapter 5, but that has nothing to do with what I asked you. That's a simple deflection.
So if you guys want to go back to specifically the discussion about abortion, I know you guys are getting into exegesis, and that's fascinating. But Matt, he told you the particular area in which he specializes in, like evolution. He specializes specifically in that transition from, like apes to hominids, which we are still apes, but the transition between our ape ancestors to hominids. Like, if you had burning questions about what that is, I know that that's something a lot of creationists are very interested in. Like, this is your chance to get answers from somebody in the field.
Yeah, I definitely am curious about the process, but then again, like I obviously think evolution's an absolute fraud, and I would love to have a debate at some point about just evolution in general.
Well,
So Matt, if you would like to do that, I'd be more than happy to set that up and do that.
Well, his name is Nathaniel. His nickname is Matt Meat Shea.
Yeah,
Wait, Nathaniel, are you the one? Are you the one that was on Cyrus the Skeptic's panel at one point trying to debunk my film? Were you one of those guys?
That does sound like something I would do. Well, it's not to debunk. You don't have to debunk things that are completely wrong, anyways. Like, it's not my fault, and it's really not your fault that you don't know evolution very well. But you could fix that. You could. I could teach you. I'd teach you for free, which is better than what Kent Hovind would do. He wants you to buy all of his stuff. But I could teach you for free, and I could teach you cellular structure and how we know that it's evolved over time.
That sounds amazing.
Yeah, I could do that for you. And in fact, I'll even get you the actual textbooks, right? But now we're talking college level here, so we may have to, start like at a certain like rudimentary level, because we don't want to like just toss you in there. But I'll get you the textbooks for free, and I'll put them in e-edition so we can make sure that we share notes and everything. And I'll teach you all about it. I'll even teach you how to use the price equation to make predictions. I'll teach you all about linear equations and the equations that we use in order to make chromosomal predictions and predictions within a population, and then see if they pan out. We'll even, oh man, so many charts we're going to make, Matt. I could actually teach you about evolution because you don't know anything. And right now, you know what? I'm not mad at you because you don't know anything. The reason that I'm here talking to you is because you act like you do. But I doubt that you could even tell me how many pairs of chromosomes we have.
Well, fair enough. Well, all I did was come in here looking, just find some atheists that would be willing to have a conversation on camera. And by the way, if you want to send me any material, feel free. I'll check it out.
Nathaniel's an atheist, Matt. I've been really quiet. Nathaniel is an atheist, and after this is all after Corona, and I'm sure if you agreed to the same stipulations that you gave to Eliakai, he would be more than happy. He's not too far away from you.
Our birthday is on the same day. We could show up together. Like, that'd be fun.
You're closer than me, man.
Oregon is.
Just curious.
No, I probably don't at this point.
Yeah.
I've been smoking weed and all that, doing that simple shit.
I'm in Portland.
Washington and Oregon, respectively. I'm up in the Seattle
You're in Portland,
area.
dude. You're like right by one of my best friends in the world.
Well, you should send the info. We're happy to meet up with them.
Justin Coe. Yeah, he's cool.
But
Justin Coe too, but I'm talking about somebody that actually lives like right there. Somebody I grew up with.
Matt, I'm certainly willing to meet you, but I'd like to ask you a couple of questions, if that's okay. I'm not going to try and trap you or anything. I'm just going to, and they're not going to be science questions. How's that? Sure. I can ask you theological questions. Well, not really theological, but yeah. If that's okay. I mean,
I have a ton of time, and I didn't come in here to be asked questions. But I tell you what, if you meet up with me in person, I will let you ask me any question you want on camera in person on a professional set. And man,
we could talk about polemics. What do you think? I actually asked you that question in the chat, because I'm chasing that PhD. And would you happen to like give me any idea of your favorite like first century polemics, so that I could really get an idea about it?
Well, I don't even know what polemics is. I think it's just like I'm Googling it right now just out of curiosity. But it just looks like a verbal attack written against someone or something.
Yeah. It's the way that we know that Paul didn't write 2 Thessalonians.
Fair enough. Well, hey, tell you what.
I love that, Nathaniel.
Instead of batting this out over the internet, I'd love to meet up with you in person, Nathaniel. And you were one of the people on one of those shows that had come out against me pretty heavily. So I'm trying to
it wasn't
film. So I would appreciate it, since you felt that it was worth taking the time to try and debunk some of my claims, I'd appreciate it if you'd meet up with me in person and have a professionally recorded conversation. I think that'd be
Would I
awesome.
be able to bring my own camera crew as well?
Yeah, feel free.
Yeah, yeah. The same deal with Ali. Yeah, I specified that earlier, Nathaniel.
And we're going to talk about what I want to talk about, which is the existence of God, and
Existence of
why.
God.
Yeah, absolutely. And why you think there is no God, or at least why you claim to think that there is no God. And we'll just see how that goes for you.
All right. Before you go, Matt, can I ask you a question?
Oh man.
All right, I let you. One more question.
I'll let you and Nathaniel finish, but before you go, I really want to ask you a question.
Okay, one last question, Raging. Well, then I gotta go.
Well, no, I had
I'm not gonna have an argument over the internet.
Well, no,
I don't want to have an argument, but I'll let Nathaniel finish real quick, and then I just want one question.
There's not going to be one because you don't know the first thing about the science.
Well, apparently I know enough for R and Ra to spend some time attacking me and try and schedule a debate with me. Apparently I know enough to stir up Richard Dawkins and all the big names and all the biggest shots out there in the internet. And
no,
so,
that doesn't mean you know anything. That doesn't mean you know. I just asked you.
That, but people apparently people think that I do. That
how many pairs of chromosomes do we have? How many? I'm sorry. What? What was that last thing you just said?
What was your question? How many chromosomes do we have?
No. What was the last thing you said?
I said there's a lot of people that are way more educated than you are that have said these things. So, and that have come out against me.
That say that you know what you're talking about? I haven't met a single person.
No, I never said.
That's exactly what I told you, Matt, in our second conversation.
No, I just wanted to know, because since you can't point me to the proper polemics, I only have one question. Do you happen to have a source that can point me to the actual writing of the Apocalypse of Peter? Because I have been looking for it and I cannot find it.
A source for the book of Peter?
No, the Apocalypse of Peter.
Like the end of Peter's life? The apocalypse?
No, the writing that Peter supposedly wrote, the Apocalypse of Peter.
I don't even know what that is.
Have you never heard it?
Some extra biblical. It's probably some extra biblical source, and so
I mean, it was in the Bible for a long time, Matt.
Well, there's a lot of things that were supposedly quote unquote in the Bible, like the book of Enoch or whatever, that were taken out that weren't actually scripture.
There's two of them, Matt.
Hey,
two Enoch.
Nathaniel.
Yes.
Apparently you found me worthy enough to spend some time on last year trying to debunk one of my films, and I'd appreciate it if we just have this conversation in person. And
what film was he trying to debunk, Matt?
It was the science.
Okay, no, that's fair.
Nakasuchi, I give you one last question, and I'm out of here.
As long as we can both bring our own questions, both of us, I will come meet you. Okay.
Ask me anything.
We will make this happen. All right. So one last question: is this the only universe?
Are you asking me?
Yeah. Is this the only universe?
Well, define what you mean by universe.
Like the universe, our universe. Is this the only one?
Well, you have to define. Are you talking about the third heaven, which is like basically all of space? Or are you talking about just...
What are you talking... I'm talking about the universe, dude. Like the entire universe, the entire thing. So if you want to put like the third heaven up in there, you can.
Okay, sure. Are you talking about the cosmos? Just the cosmos in general?
The entire universe. So whatever you consider the entire universe, that's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, I believe there's only one universe. I believe that there's this world and then the world to come.
So how do you account for how physics has pretty much proven that there's something outside of our universe? We don't know what it is, but physics has proven it.
Yeah, I just stated that there's something outside of our universe, that there's obviously where the Lord dwells, and then this universe. So
you think
exactly
that
what I just said.
No, so you think that the Lord is drawing all of the galaxies to itself to what?
Well, obviously the Lord is, when somebody dies, I believe they go to be with the Lord. And
well, no, I'm talking about dark flow and physics here. So like all of the galaxies are drifting to a point of reference outside of our universe. So if you say that point of reference outside of our universe is God, why is God drawing all of the galaxies to it? Is like he hungry or something? I'm just wondering.
yeah, I'm not sure. I'd have to look at your sources for that. And like I said, I always look at the scientific sources and what the textbooks say before making any claims. And I'm not going to speak on something that I don't know much about. So
That's a good
that
call.
answers your
Well,
question.
thank you. I just wanted to ask that question. Thank you.
Hey, Matt, is
Alright.
it possible you could be wrong?
It's always possible that humans could be wrong, but when it
Well,
comes
no,
to the
I know,
word
but
God, though,
I'm asking you regarding your faith and stuff like that. Is it possible you could be wrong
about what in general? Just my faith in general?
about your belief in God and all that, and your position right now, your belief?
No, absolutely not.
Okay.
Because
Cool.
the Lord
No,
has
that,
spoken. So,
all right, cool.
yeah.
I appreciate your honesty.
I mean, it's Chuck's. I mean, if you think
Just
that 10 to the
not to cut you off,
164th
Matt. I am
Yeah.
stepping away for a moment just to let Allie know.
Yeah. All right. I mean, if you guys believe that 10 to the 164th power could happen simultaneously trillions of times over, if you think that 1 out of 100,000 million chances could happen on its own, you guys are free to believe that, but that's a religion, just like mine is.
Cool,
And mine is my faith.
cool.
So-
Even if I'm wrong, that doesn't mean your God exists.
Fair enough. Well, let's meet up and have a conversation. Have a great night, guys.
Cool.
Have a good one, Matt. Question though, I did ask you earlier if you would be willing to potentially have a conversation or a debate of some kind on this channel at some point, or even modern day debate. I think it would be really, really fun.
I would do a modern day debate. As long as you can set it up there, I'll do it.
Okay, I will talk to James, because James and I were in the process of looking for a Christian who wanted to talk about evolution for a debate with me. We were potentially looking at Nephilim Free, but if you are willing to have a debate, I would love to have a debate with you.
Let's make it happen. Thanks, guys.
All right, have a good one.
You too. Bye-bye.
All right, you guys heard it here,
Say
folks.
yes.
He said it on. He said it on record. I'm gonna go contact James and send him this clip.
Well, that's interesting. I did not expect him to say yes to that. I'm sorry, folks. I expected to have a scientific conversation. I apologize. I didn't. I wasn't trying to.
I knew
derail
he
any
was going to ask you.
conversations.
I knew he was going to ask you exactly those questions. I knew how they were going to be framed. Like, you did throw him off a little bit, but the thing is I actually do have some answers to a few of those questions, and am willing to talk to him about some of that stuff. But yeah, this is going to be a lot of fun. Like, I'm going to be having a chat with Matt Powell on Modern Day Debate. This is going to be fucking boss. Like, this is one hell of a thing, and it happened while Knock was AFK. Holy shit.
Yeah, I totally missed that. My daughter's blood sugar is at 68, so we had to give her some fruit.
Oh goodness.
Well, I asked him flat out if he would be willing to have a debate with me on Modern Day Debate or here, and he said he would be willing if I could get it set up with James to have a debate on Modern Day Debate.
All right, yeah, so good shit. I mean, I didn't expect that to happen. Everybody, Momma Atheist dipped out. When it was starting to go long with Matt, I messaged Allie on Discord and told her to get a hold of Momma Atheist and tell her that she can dip out. It's going long. We will plug her channel and we will have her on again. But yeah, I just wanted to put that out there.
So Susan reminded me of something. I thank you so much, babes. She and I, because I discovered his video. I don't know. Where, and I'll tell you what, if anybody is prepared to talk to an empty church right now, it's Matt Powell. I discovered it before I think a lot of other people did. And we actually, Susan and I, reviewed, it took us like 6 hours to do it, his little video. We did it on Periscope before I ever got on Cyrus's channel. I had forgotten about that. That's how forgettable the video is. So that was cool. But I was hoping that I could speak with him about genotypes and phenotypes and,
that is one thing that I will give the NIFB. The NIFB has been doing live streamed, they have been doing live streamed freaking sermons. Like, they have not been having people in their churches. Like, I believe Steven Anderson actually went live and told people not to come to the congregations, that when they were holding them with social distancing guidelines, and that they have been telling people, like, to go and, you know, watch them on the YouTube channels and stuff. So that is one thing they have been doing right.
All right, so I stepped away again real quick, not to stop you, Allie, from what you're doing right now. Please continue when I finish. I just want to say that there was like maybe 5 times after Nathaniel came on that Matt was here that I am thankful I had my microphone muted, because I was laughing so hard. I mean, tonight was beautiful to me, and I cannot wait to break this shit down.
Well, and I feel super bad that freaking, like, Momma Atheist, this has been the interview that I have been hyping up.
But I did send you that message, and we'll have her on again, and we will plug her channel hardcore at the end of this, because that was a great conversation, but then Cupcake became Cupcake again.
What were you? I was reading the chat too. What were you? Because there was some funny stuff. I saw Ocean said something. What was funny?
Well, everything was fun. Like, I was laughing so many times. I can't even point out a specific time. But like, you provided a science that he had no response to, none whatsoever. And it was great, because he always comes across, like, he came on this channel thinking he was going to talk to me again, right? And nah, because we already had a scientist on, and then you're like, hey, I can talk about this. And I'm like, oh yeah, my friend Nathaniel is brilliant. Let's bring him on and let Matt Powell come across somebody he doesn't want to come across. And it was fucking awesome. I was rolling.
You got to stop telling people I'm brilliant. You're setting me up for failure.
He had no idea to how to respond to what you was putting forward. It was just great. I didn't mean to interrupt the conversation. I just had to get that out, because I was away dealing with my kid. You know, her blood sugar was low. But like, I was just laughing. I mean, I was laughing. I can't wait to break it down. I really can't.
Well, I have one of the things that I've done, and I think Cyrus and I have spoken about this. I know that Ocean and I have, because Ocean and I have had numerous like live stream conversations with theists, which is always fun, because they automatically think that he's an atheist. The things that we have spoken about regarding these conversations and stuff is what they try to do, as somebody mentioned in the chat, is they gish gallop through stuff, right? And then accuse other people of doing it, whatever. And keeping them in one corner on one topic, and pushing them to see if they know any, and if they can provide substantive evidence for any of their claims. It's so frustrating for them, because it diverts from the script. And that is something that I was really bad at for a very long time. And that's like all that I do now. Last night we had a live stream, Susan and I did, and we're talking about, is there evidence for the resurrection of Jesus? And people were trying to talk to us about, like, just like Matt did, the beginning of the universe, physics. I should have had you on there for that one. Talking about, where does morality come from? All this other bullshit. Nothing about the resurrection. I was like, dude, I'm not going to talk to you about anything else. I want to talk about the resurrection of Jesus. And then the next live stream we're doing is, are the Gospels reliable? That's all we're going to talk about. And I think that that's something where, we fail a lot, because we let them set this narrative. And when in fact, they don't have the narrative, because they don't have one. And so it's like, no, we take it to them. And that's why they never have a response. And that's why he's never actually going to meet me. There's no way.
There is no way in hell he ever does that.
Yeah, no, he's not.
He might do Aliakai on Modern Day Debate under a certain set of circumstances. We will see if that happens. I hope it does, because Ali would just destroy him. But
I already contacted James. Like, I literally, after the second he said yes, I contacted James, and I'm going to provide a time-stamped link as soon as this is done processing to James of him saying he accepts.
There is absolutely no way after tonight he will ever go to meet you, Nathaniel. It's not going to happen. It's just like, oh, no. Nathaniel, he ran away from me like Aaron Ra did.
Yeah, I don't know any particulars with him and Aaron.
Well, he claimed that, but I think tonight here he pretty much admitted that, like, no, Aaron will just speak over me. I'm not going to do that. Like, dude, you used to say Aaron ran from you. Now you're saying, oh, he's too rude.
I will say, knowing Aaron Ra personally, it's a fair point. Aaron would not let him finish the sentence.
Oh yeah, Aaron Ra is like, I've always called him, like, since I started this channel, the OG raging atheist. Like, that motherfucker will tell you what's up.
Yeah, we actually did a protest. Aaron was there twice outside of NIFB, Steadfast Baptist in Fort Worth. And what's that fuckface's pastor's name? I forget his name. He came out and tried to start shit with us. Remember the pastor in Fort Worth?
Fort Worth, Doyle?
Mm-mm.
Jonathan Shelley?
Ah, Shelley.
Oh, Shelley. Oh, he's like one of my favorites. I have so much fun with him.
Yeah, we forced him to change his sermon. I think he came out to try to start bullshit with us. And Aaron was like up in his face. And I walked over and I kind of between them with my backpack and this huge pride flag. And I was like, Aaron, this is something we can't do right now, because they're going to record it. So I'm sitting there talking to him, and you know how big Aaron is. And what it looks like, if you look at Aaron, he gets up in somebody's face. And I was like, Aaron, we can't talk to him right now. He looks at me, and I know this is on video. He looks at me, he's like, and he like turns around and walks away. Do you remember that, babe? Whenever I had to like get Aaron away from Shelley.
Yeah, that was interesting.
I've got to get Aaron on my channel. It'll be a good conversation. My favorite Pastor Shelley moment was when he was burning all of the Bibles except the King James version. I took delight in that one. I had fun with that video.
Yeah, they on our second. We had two protests in a row, and they knew we were coming the second time because, well, we made an event and they made a video about it, and they invited people to their church. They made like an ice cream thing, right? I think, yeah, it was. They said, if you come, and if we fill this thing up, and we have like the largest crowd ever, we're gonna give everybody ice cream. And they're like, all right, and so we redoubled our efforts, and we got a lot of folks out there, and thanks to Aaron and the folks down there at DFW FFRF and Naturalized Atheists for really kind of blasting it out. And we had more people protesting their church than they had inside, and they still got ice cream. Damn it! Like, we didn't get any ice cream, but we got the satisfaction of knowing. And people drove by and they stopped and they would ask us, "Why are you protesting this church?" And we tell them, they were like, "Oh, good for you." People came by, asked us if we wanted water. It was really cool. So Shelley came out, of course, and then they tried to drive around so they wouldn't have to see us. And so we ended up taking up both sides of the parking lot, and it was a lot of fun. And we had the police there.
No shit, this is a true story. So, like, I was a closet atheist. So, like, I watched just a few atheists. I wasn't really aware of no community or anything. When I was alone, I would watch a few people. I would watch The Amazing Atheist until he went like crazy Trump shit and crazy like anti-feminist shit. And I'm like, I can't watch him anymore. I watched Cult of Dusty until he did the same thing. And then he disappeared. And then he came back and got crazy. But then I always watched Aaron Ra, right? Like he was like the atheist that really spoke the science that I listened to. And so I've always had just like so much respect to him, to the point that I will literally like battle friends over Aaron Ra. Like, I will, like, I'm sorry, dude, I really, really love you as a human being, but don't fucking talk about Aaron Ra.
Well, you know what's crazy is all this stuff with Matt Powell. Like, this was supposed to be, and again, I want to reiterate this for everybody who was in the audience hanging out with us, that we're here to watch Momma Atheist. This was supposed to be her crowning moment. We are going to clip this section off of the VOD and put it as its own video. So the original interview is going to stand by itself with this section clipped out.
Yes, and as soon as it processes, I will make sure I stay up. And me and Allie will make sure it gets done. If not tonight, tomorrow. I did promise my daughter Winter Soldier tonight. We are already 48 minutes longer than I told her. It's not going to happen, right? So as soon as it processes,
Then
I
we're
will
gonna
do
download
that,
the
and then when I
video.
wake up in the morning, I'll watch Captain American Winter Soldier with my kid and continue along that chronological line of the Marvel adventure that she just. I mean, my crowning achievement as a parent is that my 10-year-old daughter loves Marvel.
So, and that's the other big thing is, Matt Powell showed up, and we haven't even gotten to the other really big announcement for the Christian appearance that's about to happen on
I
this
know,
channel.
right? Like, dude, that was supposed to happen so long ago because people have just been waiting.
Yeah, like the other major announcement for this channel.
Just a second, Ollie. I'm gonna share the screen real quick. I'm gonna share the screen. Just one moment. Let's go full screen. Go ahead, Ollie.
So yeah, if you all remember my debate with Cy Gart, the four-way with Suris and the racist rabbi John Gashala, well, I reached out to Cy Gart after the last debate on Modern Day Debate with Naka, and he said that he would be happy to come on and talk evolutionary biology and paleontology with me. So, yeah, this is going to be a mostly solo show. Naka's going to kind of be in the backstage helping run stuff until the end. But the two of us it's not going to be a debate unless religion decides to come up. I told him we're going to be talking the science unless religion comes up. We want to have a civil conversation. But yeah, Cy Gart is going to come on to talk evolutionary biology on our channel. He has agreed to do this Monday at 7:30 EST.
Yep, it will happen here at A Raging Atheist. I'm excited about it. And it's not even A Raging Atheist anymore. It's The Rage. I haven't changed the name yet, but this isn't my channel anymore. This is Allie's channel. This is John Peterson's channel. This is Faye the Most Gracious channel when she wants it to be. Because this is about conversation and this is about activism, and I'm really excited to have Dr. Cy Gart on. I told Ali that I don't want to be involved until the very end, just to meet him because I haven't met him yet. But I'm really stoked about this conversation. It's going to be a friendly conversation about science, maybe a little bit of religion, but hopefully the first of many.
So, yeah, big announcement. We're super excited about that. But, yeah, I guess the other announcement is y'all heard it here live, folks. I guess I'm going to be debating Matt Powell on religion on Modern Day Debate if he doesn't bitch out. I already contacted James.
That and Thursday night, we have something else going on as well, don't we, Ellie?
So I am working on getting it officially confirmed, but we're going to be doing another special stream. This one might be a highly moderated stream. We're not sure yet, but I'm working on getting Nacho Witness on for a special stream called Chains of Faith about self-indoctrination. We're going to talk about my experience with the Jehovah's Witnesses that affected me so emotionally. And we're going to talk about fundamentalists and going to church, even though, there's a very good chance they'll catch the pandemic. Things like laying on hands and where a lot of those attitudes come from and what it's like growing up in a fundamentalist background. So big announcements for the channel. We got some big names coming on. You guys are not going to want to miss it. Also, Sunday, Knock and I, we haven't decided a time yet, but we're going to be going through his debate, at the very least the first half, and we're going to be critiquing his debate performance and talking about some of the arguments he could have made, what he missed, places where he got thrown off, why, all of that stuff. So if you guys liked the Modern Day Debate, or even if you didn't and you were upset with the way that things sort of fell out at the beginning, we're going to be doing that stuff.
I never run from mistakes, even though I still feel fairly strongly that I won the debate. And then part two, that was like guaranteed to me, is going to be brutal because, totally Travis doesn't know what the fuck he's talking about. I've been doing some research.
That happens. I'm in the planning stages of a debate. We're going to have it at a church in Texas, myself and Dean Meadows. We've already debated twice, so this is the trifecta of debates, I guess. We're looking at were any of the early disciples and apostles martyred? So it'd be a fun debate. By the way, no. The answer
That's pretty exciting too. So yeah, I'm looking forward to that shit. And tomorrow night, right? Allie, you got something going on, right?
Yep. Tomorrow night, I'm going to be going on to Adventist Hermes' channel for what he described as a friendly interrogation. There's a 50% chance I will or will not be on camera, but he wants to ask me about my Hellenist belief. That's going to happen at 9 p.m. EST for those of you who are not on Pacific Standard Time.
All right. And with that, I have to end tonight because I have a 10-year-old that thinks that we're going to watch a movie at midnight Eastern Time. It's not going to happen. So I do want to give final words. Please, Nathaniel, please speak about tonight your experience with Matt Powell. Take as long as you need because I want to include that when I break this shit down.
And then we also need to do our final plug for Momma Atheist and all that stuff, so
Yes,
that
yes,
segment
of course.
will be at the end.
Of course, yes.
Make sure that you download the stream, and I'm going to try to download it too when it's done processing, so that we can clip that properly. That way we make damn sure that we do not lose this footage.
Yeah, so I had the opportunity, call it fortunate or unfortunate if you'd like, to speak with Matt Powell for the first time, like, you know, call it face to face, whatever you want to call it this evening. It was a pleasant conversation. There was not an exchange of ideas by any stretch of the imagination. I sorry about the person in the background. I let Matt know very specifically the scientific field that I've studied. And I don't think he knew what it was. Well, no, he didn't. He asked me very specifically what it was later on. And I tried to steer the conversation very specifically into that scientific field by letting him know that I don't study the origins of life. I don't care. And I think that I don't know. I don't know, like they ticked a thing in his brain or he couldn't get past it or something. I don't know. It was unfortunate that we didn't get to speak about some of that stuff. And I tried to straw man me a little bit, and he did red herring and stuff. But that's going to happen, and when having a conversation like that, I suppose, especially with the presuppositionalist. He did say that he wants to meet me in person, and he said that I could bring my own camera crew and my own questions. So that's exciting. I don't know that that's ever going to happen, but not because I don't want to, but I would be up to it. But he didn't. I don't think Matt grasps the scientific fields at all. I think he has a script that he goes off of, and I don't think he understands it. I think that he certainly doesn't understand phylogenetics, genetics at all. He'd never heard of Mendelian genetics before. And so these are basic things to get into. He's speaking about evolutionary theory, and I told him that I told him I would teach him evolutionary theory at a collegiate level, and he said okay. So I guess we'll see if that happens too. But thanks for give me the opportunity to speak to him. I was in the chat and I was like, I don't care if I talk to him now or later. So I appreciate the opportunity that I had to speak with him. I don't think it was very fruitful. He did say that there's no possibility he could be wrong regarding his belief. So we'll see.
Yeah, this was kind of like a dream come true for me because since the second conversation I had with him face to face, the one for the movie, I've told him, like, why don't you speak to somebody that's in the field, right? Like somebody that can really talk to you about the science of evolution. Tonight that happened, and tonight we saw he wanted to ask you questions, but didn't want you to ask him any.
Yeah, that's usually how it goes because they have a script.
They want to control the conversation.
Yep, and I've seen the same thing. And whenever I have a conversation like that with Dean and stuff too, it is, as a script. Really, anybody that does apologetics has a script. And so the thing with science is there's not one. There is not a script. But what we can do is we can say we know exactly what they're going to ask. And this is the same thing with Dean. When he wanted to, when we did our first debate, he called us on the phone. And he said, hey, you give me one of yours, I'll give you one of mine. I'm like, no. And I knew the reason he was doing that, because there's no new information, right? This is the thing that's right about what they say. There's no new information. For them, it's just a different way they package it. And so I said, no, Dean, do your own damn research. I'm not giving you mine.
Exactly, dude. That's exactly right. That's, I'm not 100% sure I'm correct yet, but I have a lot of evidence that, like, say in my debate with Travis, he switches up his arguments to throw off his interlocutor, because like it's not really about the science. Like you could say, all right, so in one debate you can say, string theory is speculative and it can't be discussed. But in the next debate with me, you can say, hey, my arguments just don't depend on that specific point that you're trying to break down. He can change his arguments to just fit the philosophical argument he's trying to fulfill, but just morphing it a little bit so his opponent isn't familiar with this particular argument. And it's just like it's what they do. It's not about the truth. It's just about trying to look good when they're in these interactions. And tonight, Matt Powell came across somebody that really, really knows this shit for the first time that I've ever seen, and he got the fuck out as soon as he could.
Well, I do know that he had places to go, but I do know that he also didn't.
Well, that's always what he says. That's always what he says. He would not be here in the chat trolling and then coming in to ask questions and then have to bounce the moment he actually has a chance to talk to somebody that he said he initially wants to talk to, an atheist that knows the science, that would be willing to talk about evolution. You came in, you know the science, you're an atheist, you're willing to talk about it, and he did it for a little bit, but then bounced. Yeah, maybe he's busy, but he's in Arizona as well. It's a lot earlier for him than it is for me.
Yeah, he's 1 hour ahead of me. I look forward to him speaking with Leakai. She's certainly well versed as well, so I think that'll be another, opportunity there to see that in an actual format that he is kind of, stuck into, where he's not able to make the rules there. And I look forward to seeing that because again, he has the basic apologetic overview, the same. It's the same thing that we get from it's the wedge document, right? It's the exact same nonsense. And so he just is reading the same script over and over again. And I think once you get him off of that, there's like a glitch in the matrix, and they're just stuck there. So
well, and what's also going to be really fun is we're going to be having a molecular biologist on who has experience in evolutionary biology. I'm going to be able to ask him all kinds of questions about the, say, residual genes that we share with amphibians and fish and all kinds of other things. Like, I'm going to get a crash course in some of the stuff that I would say are probably currently my weak points, because I love the ancestor's tale, but it is not by any means, it is very much written for a lay audience. It doesn't get into the nitty gritty. Right. So I'm really excited to get to interview Art.
I'm looking forward to that conversation. And before we close out, close out,
Knock, I've got something else.
I know, and we still have to plug Momma Atheist, but shit, I forgot. God damn it, Allie.
Well, I've got another big one. The Nevermore Tavern has extended an invitation to us. That's what the DMing request in Twitter was, to come on for a meet and greet May 23rd. I gave a tentative acceptance, barring your internet connection, and mentioned that you're worried about losing net, and that'd be the only reason that you couldn't come. But May 23rd, which is a Saturday at 7:30 p.m.
Wait, why would you lose internet?
Rental stuff.
Yeah, it's complicated. If I lose internet, then I'll be going to my phone, and Ali will be running everything. But it's due with my apartment complex and waiting on stimulus and unemployment and COVID-19 bullshit.
Oh, is your internet like tied into your?
Yeah, it's tied into my rent.
Oh.
So I'm hoping I can pay the internet and then pay my rent when the stimulus comes, because my money's gone. I got a generous donation last night that gave me some money today, and outside of that, my money's gone.
Oh, I was gonna say, if it's not tied, well, God, at least out here in Oregon and most other places, they're doing like, at least they're not doing rent freezes, but they're saying
here in Michigan they can't evict me right now, and I'm not worried about eviction. I'm just worried about losing my internet service. So I think that the office is going to work with me. I'm going to talk to them again tomorrow. We'll see what happens.
Well, and I would pitch it as, it's tied to your income. Like, that's going to be the biggest thing is, hey, this is my current income right now.
I lost my job on March 15th, and when the governor shut down initially, before it even got more serious. So yeah, it's been for me over 2 weeks now that I've had no income, and I'm a broke motherfucker.
Yeah.
So yeah, like that's exciting. May 23rd, we're going to be going on to the Nevermore Tavern, both of us, for a meet and greet.
That's exciting.
I think things are going to work out. I have optimism here.
Yeah, I'm certain it will. And Susan, I'm excited for you guys to. I don't know why I keep thinking you're in North Carolina. So that's where you are. Okay, you're in North Carolina. Congratulations.
Well, I was raised in North Carolina, but I'm in Michigan, unfortunately.
Okay,
so.
There you go. I'm excited to see you guys on Nevermore Tavern. And Susan said everybody donate to Knock. Yeah,
I say unfortunately, kind of like I just don't like the snow, but like it's way better than being surrounded by a bunch of fucking Southern Baptists. I will say that.
You can come to Portland. I hear that.
My best friend wants me to move to Portland, and I've got several people that actually want me to move out West Coast. My thing is, until my daughter's, I think under Michigan law, 14 years old, I can't, because without her mother's permission.
Ah. Oh,
I got full custody, but she still has her rights and all that shit.
I guess since I'm giving Shay a couple of bones tonight, Shay, tighten your anus.
All right, so we do need to plug Momma Atheist, guys. Like the vast majority of this conversation, the first 2 hours or so of it was our interview with Momma Atheist. She is amazing, and I'm really, really grateful that she came on. We had a fantastic conversation about climate that I think was way, way underwatched because
maybe
we were competing
one
with
of
someone
the
else.
best climate change conversations I've ever had. I mean, in a very long time, since I started doing YouTube. Probably one of the best climate change conversations I've had.
Yeah, we covered everything from the science itself to where that stuff comes from, to who funds it, to what's been going on with the Trump administration, to speculations on why certain policies have been enacted, and even some policies you guys probably haven't heard of. If you didn't get a chance to watch it because you were busy watching Skylar Fiction's review of his debate, y'all need to go back and watch the VOD. Again, we're going to be clipping the section off where Matt Powell came in and creating it as its own video. Knock and I are both going to be downloading original copies of the VOD to make sure the whole thing happens before we clip it. So it's probably not going to change until tomorrow morning, but we are going to make sure that focus stays.
I'm thinking after the stream, we'll put it on private, and then we'll do our work in the morning, and then we'll make it public again. I can't speak. I gotta stop smoking weed. I have been smoking so much fucking weed.
Maynard Saves would disagree with you.
I've been in Oregon for like almost a month. Not even one.
Okay,
I was super tired when we started this stream, and I'm like, Allie, we're gonna go like an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes, and then Matt Powell happened, and now I'm still awake. I didn't watch the movie with my daughter like I promised. I'm such a bad dad. Brett Keane, there you go. There's some evidence for you, you motherfucker. I love you, but I hate you because you're you, and it's really, really weird.
Well, you know what? We're fucking magic, and some of the best conversations we have end up going for 3 hours, which is why we have to clip VODs for sections of them, because they end up being multiple conversations. But we actually did manage to stay on topic with the Momma Atheist conversation for 2 fucking hours, which is magic on this channel. Like, that is magic.
Yeah, like, dude, that doesn't happen often.
Like, that is motherfucking magic, guys. You do not want to have missed that. Please go sub to her. She is criminally undersubbed. She's a brand new baby channel, only around, under 200 subs right now. Like, that is criminal. If you guys are watching this VOD, her link is in the description. Go check her out. Like, she does a wide variety of content. She's had some amazing discussions on Math Pig's channel. She's done some great work on her own. Like, she's going to be a rising star in the community. She's going to want to be someone that you're going to want to bring on and have conversations with. Like, I feel like crap that Matt derailed this conversation because, the focus should not have been taken off of her. She's a superstar.
I agree. It's not often that I totally change course and I'm like, fuck it, let's have Matt on. I'm glad we did, but it does take away from what happened with Momma Atheist, and it was a brilliant conversation. It was one of the best climate change conversations I've been able to have on this channel. I love having the scientist on. That's the thing about me. That's the thing about Allie. That's the thing about John Peterson. That's the thing about what we're trying to do here on this channel is we want to speak truth when we're wrong, and we find out we'll admit we're wrong. but it's about truth here and getting to the core of bad ideas. And tonight, considering that Matt came in, did what he did, and I said I was kind of trolling earlier. Matt was thinking about me. He just put a video out yesterday, so he does this kind of stuff. I'm glad that it happened because, again, Nathan knows his shit. Matt finally had to come across somebody that knows his shit, and I think it was fairly evident what happened here tonight. So, yeah, good and bad, but at the same time, it only happens on the rage, right? So,
aren't we going to talk about? Pardon me. Didn't you want to sit down at some point and talk to me about Paul?
yes, I do.
Yeah, send me a DM. We'll set that up.
Yeah, I've really been doing a lot of research on Paul. I'm trying to draw a conclusion, but I want it to be the right conclusion.
Cool. Well, if your conclusion is he didn't write either the Timothy books or Colossians or Second Thessalonians, you're right.
Yeah, and I think he pretty much hijacked the Christian religion. But yeah, we'll talk.
Yeah, he did. Oh yeah.
All right, so thank you guys so much. And again, please go sub to Momma Atheist. Like, again, this was an amazing conversation. The fact that, even Susan backed me up in the chat there. Like, the fact that the side chat and the conversation stayed on topic for 2 fucking hours straight on something as detailed and difficult as freaking climate science and climate policy for 2 goddamn hours. That is magic. It is an interview
Corona
you guys
going
do
on.
not want to
let's be
miss.
honest. It's really hard not to talk about it.
Well, and we managed to only limit it to less than 10 minutes of the total conversation, and there was a reason it got brought up. So, you know what? We are freaking magic. Like, this was an amazing night.
It was a good night. This was
miss
a good stream. I don't think anybody that has seen this stream live could argue that this was a good stream. Good shit happened tonight. I can't wait to break it down tomorrow.
Yeah, and all the best wishes to you and your family as well. I think it's day 4 or 5 now.
Yeah, we're on day 5.
Okay, you only got a couple left. All right, that's everything that we've seen so far. So, it's the reason I write you every day and make sure you're okay. So,
well,
yeah, you are a good
for
person. You and Susan both are really kind people, and people should watch your show and follow you on Twitter. No
stop giving people a false sense of who we are. You're gonna watch the show and be like, "Who is this idiot?"
You're as modest as I am. Like Allie will tell you, I hate any shows of affection. Like seriously, put a mask on me now.
Well, yeah, he'll break out in hives if you so much as compliment him without being an asshole about it first. Like, that's the reason he and I are so close, because I know how to do just enough humor to make sure that the allergic reaction is mild.
Okay, I apparently have to go and finish my.
We have to go.
I'm creating a script responding to a inspiring philosophy video, so I have to go and do that now. Apparently,
oh, that's going to be fun.
Susan yelled at me in the chat. So,
well, if you need a script editor, I'm more than happy to help out.
Yeah, we've definitely got. I totally said no longer than 2 hours, and I'm such a fucking bitch.
All right, thanks for having me again, guys.
Thank you so much for coming on. I can't wait to put it on its own. It's gonna be great.
Tony, don't hug knock. You're gonna give him hives.
Let's see, leave studio. I did this the other day when we ended this. By the way, I did this the other day when we ended the show, or was it on Neil's? I don't remember. And the show was ending, and I just hit leave studio, and I tried to go back in and went, oh shit. I think Susan. Yeah, it was on this show. It was on Knox, wasn't it? Whenever I left on accident. Whenever the stream ended, I left on accident. I was like, wait, why did I do that? Now I'm going to do that. Bye, everybody.
Great show tonight, Allie. I am really happy with the show tonight. I think we've had a surprising show. It started with climate change, lots of information. We'll break that down. And then, we had some cupcake action. I took off Dances with the Devil from the channel. But now it's like, fuck, man, he's just like insisting. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to put it back on. But it's just like, he just can't stop thinking about your boy.
Well, yeah, and he might have me to think about fairly soon. I'm trying to make arrangements with James. James seemed to have some aversion to the idea. He says that that he had an issue a while back and he's not able to work with Matt yet. So I'm going to go try to get to the bottom of that, because that would be the debate of the century for him, bringing back Rivalry Round 2.
Well, it it could be an issue of platforming. So it came up in the debate earlier today, and I would not blame James at all for making that decision. We could find another platform, I'm sure, for it if he does. I wouldn't blame James at all.
Yeah, and I completely don't either. Everybody can do what they want with their own platform. I mean, the only reason that I even challenged him to that debate was because of the fact that I'm co-hosting for you. So.
Well, yeah, but and I'll talk to James. We'll find out. But we'll see what happens. If not here somewhere, if not on Modern Day Debate somewhere, or Matt bitched out, which wouldn't surprise me. But you know, kudos to Matt. He came on. He asked us questions. And then we got classic material. So final words, Ali, and then we are going to get out of here because I'm going to make my daughter go to bed and tell her we're not watching a movie at all. It's not going to happen.
All right. So final words for tonight. We are going to try to get arrangements for Natcha. Apparently the initial time that I proposed to him isn't going to work, so we might need to reschedule that.
I'm quarantined. Anytime is good. It's all good. Whatever time, it works.
Okay, yeah, so I'm going to try to get that, but we're still going to try to get it for Thursday.
You know, you're like West Coast, so that's the issue here, probably. Allie?
Yeah, it was because I was alt-tabbed for a half a second. You know I'm always fucking typing. Yeah, I'm trying to get a time that works. Honestly, it might just be that we're trying to have it in the evening. I'm trying to see if I can set up a time that would work best for him. I really want to do it on Thursday because we've already, because we're hoping to bring back Sticks and Stonehenge maybe next week. Like, it's very tentative, but we've been talking about it. So I'm not sure if we can do a Wednesday.
All right, well, any time that works for him, outside of your Wednesday, I am totally down, and we'll make sure to announce it earlier. And I'm excited to have Nacha on. I've interacted with him before. This is going to be a really good stream, and I want to start covering other aspects of religion. We're doing Islam now with John Beck, and I think the Patreon poll was finally Scientology. So I'm gonna start making a Scientology video in the next week or so, probably.
Yeah, it looks like somebody finally settled it.
Yeah, so that's gonna happen, but we're getting out of here because I've got to make my daughter go to bed. And God, I'm gonna put like my wheat, like this batch is really good. Like, holy shit, I gotta stop smoking. All right, so I'm gonna make my daughter go to bed, and I'm going to bed. Ali, final words. Say goodnight, and we're out.
Be the conversation.